Welcome and hello and hello and welcome. Happy Friday. Bienvenidos a todos TGIF. Thank you for joining me on this very, very special edition of Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, guys, everybody knows if you follow the FinTurd universe, if you're, a devotee of the Canadian FinTurd mafia, any of these, turds that float around YouTube. Let me share my screen with you. I don't have a lot of time, believe it or not. I do have a work life. Not much of a social, a little bit. But anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. Let's talk Sofi Technologies Incorporated. It's been too long. Let's get back to our base. Of course, this is where the turd army started. This is where it all came from when I used to, see this stock trading down in the $4 range. It was like, so I knew about Noto from earlier in his career. He's kind of a legend at Goldman Sachs and Wall Street in general. And anybody who's really a trader, deal maker, they know about Anthony Noto. He was like I forget what the actual award is called, but he was like Trader of the Year many, many times for making these deals. And he's just well known. The guy just doesn't lose. He's smarter. He's the smartest guy in the room. And not only that, but he outworks everyone. He's a winner. He's just a standout All-American football player. All of these qualities, I believe he's an Army Ranger. He was head of his class in engineering at the military academy. He's just a very, very unique person, a very unique biography. And when I saw he was coming into SoFi, I was just extremely confident. When I found out the SPAC, I just started buying units, and I've just been accumulating the stock ever since. And as it dips down again here below 15, I don't know where I'd be convinced to buy again, but as I'm going to show you on the chart, I don't think it's got much further to go. I still think it's a better long-term investment than a firm. And, I know that sounds like small potatoes, sour grapes, whatever you want to call it, but I really see this business model with the bank charter. A lot of people like, Stock Goat and Tevis. I saw their videos on, how there's no tech growth and how we have to, and they're absolutely right. As far as the, the hierarchy of FinTurd, U-turd royalty, it honestly does not get any better than the Stock Goat or Tevis. Those are pretty much people you have to idolize in this industry. People you have to look up to. It's like Shanice Kobolowski in tires. What's going on, Carl Seamark? Welcome and hello and welcome and hello. The great Carl Seamark, the mattress king of Chicago. Of course, the great Billy Jack. Another fat guy who can cook. No offense, Billy Jack, but he seems like good people. Running my operation down in Texarkana, the greater South, probably the East Coast. Anything south of the Mason-Dixon, east of the Mississippi, you got to talk to Billy Jack. And that doesn't just go for me. That goes for everything. It's like that Sylvester Stallone show where he's like the land baron and he's killing everybody. It's kind of Operation Billy Jack's run. Anyway, guys, between him and Low Country, Luton Pond, they pretty much run the entire Southeast United States. So we got Jonathan Bradshaw had a meltdown on Stock Galileo. Yeah, I know. I commented on that one. I love the Stock Goat, but he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he kind of speaks for, I think, he's the voice of the retail investor who's been in SoFi, who's frustrated that the stock has been, maligned, mischaracterized, held down, mistreated. I mean, you got the Bologna Sandwich coming out and just reiterating 6 again, just thumbing us in the eye. Just thumbing us right in the eye, Giuliano. And I really know he's smarter than that. Giuliano Bologna knows that this fair value accounting thing is, just a bunch of crap. It's like, yes, over the short period of time, the choice in accounting system can distort something. But if the guy, had an honest bone in his nose, he would say that, like, look, this would have shown up by now because defaults peaked like last March. It's been almost a year, Giuliano. Where have you been? Have you been hibernating, shaving your back, eating soup and sandwich specials? I don't know what you do with your time, but it doesn't seem like you follow this company. And I listened to the guy talk for 90 minutes. He's a very intelligent, well-educated guy, probably forgot more than I'll ever know about these topics. Oh, what am I making this show about? Does anybody, can Not a Lurker remind me? I just wanted to talk SoFi because I believe these rat bastards might create another buying opportunity. I don't want you to get weak in the knees. Look to Payush. Look to the Punisher, the big P out of Memphis, Tennessee. What does Payush do when all you little turds are running away? And, I don't know, guys. It's just a dead stock. Like, it's a great company, great growth, great management, great business model. It's just a dead stock's never going to go anywhere. It's like, well, you have shit for brains. That's not possible. Company that's going to be making a ton of money, spinning off free cash, incredible gross profit margins, insane growth rates. It's not going to be a dead stock. And sure enough, when everyone was saying dead stock, dead stock, dead stock, could have been a drum circle of U-turders repeating that. And what happens? The stock basically triples almost overnight. And a lot of retail that sold the dip and smelled the rip are just left holding their pud, wondering about what could have been. It's like me and Palantir. Was I wrong about Palantir valuation? Survey says yes. Survey says yes. I was wrong. I was wrong. I realized quick. What's up, Forever Forgiven? I was happy with SMCI. Yeah, SMCI, guys, is going to make a monster move. I mean, I don't think people are ready for that guidance. Why do they think it's going to be much different than NVIDIA? They're still working hand in hand with NVIDIA. They're bringing out best-in-breed solutions. When you read the specs on their liquid cooling and liquid-to-air cooling, and people want to tell me that Dell is ahead of them in liquid cooling, I'll bet you the larger of my testicles. That is, in fact, not the case. SMCI has forgotten more about cooling than Mr. Michael Dell. I mean, I admire the guy's big bullum head, big curly head of hair he used to have. Look kind of like, Cousin Jeffrey from Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's coming right at you. But, baloney. SMCI clearly has the lead. NVIDIA knows it. Everybody knows it. NVIDIA can't even make cooling as good as SMCI. It's just, this is an open secret. I see all these comments. Oh, their stuff doesn't work. I have done research here, guys. SMCI has installed some of the biggest data centers in history, the biggest one ever. It works. The accounting irregularities are salespeople pushing the envelope. They're ne'er-do-well family members trying to exploit loopholes and get extra Christmas money in their stocking. It's a CFO who basically, I don't know, not to malign the guy's character, but he's basically seems to be, in my opinion, according to reports, I don't want to get, in trouble, but he's basically completely dishonest scumbag. He's been caught many times. Anyway, guys, I don't want to get off on a wild SMCI tangent as I want to do, but I just wanted to go over why I think SoFi is going to make a massive move up off this base. I'm seeing two flags. I'm seeing flock of seagulls. I'm seeing a Rocky Mountain type of Aspen, California knife where the famine flock. But anyway, so I'm seeing these two flags. Why do I think it's going to look at this zone? Look at these horizontal lines. Kind of between 1830 and about 14, where the stock has been playing ever since the move. And you notice also here, these moves are actually up or sideways, whereas always before this thing was working the shark tooth, working down periods of accumulation. Now it's not even trying to work down. It's just doing this massive gap, this massive price fixing operation, and then it's actually trading. So you can see the accumulation. I mean, another thing you just notice on this chart is when it's ascending and these indicators are green, there's much more volume. When it pulls down, the volume subsides. I mean, just look for yourself. Starts to go back up, the volume comes back up. It's not super hard to tell when they're accumulating. I mean, you might not be able to see all the nuances of it, but this is just a ton of green. So, and looking at this, why is this important? Well, come back here. I mean, take off these peaks, all of the consolidation before the breakdown. Same thing on the way up. It was all right here. So you have to believe either this is going to fall back down below 14 and trade there with this kind of growth profit just ramping up, new businesses coming online, higher margin businesses, or it's going to break back out, because this is really equivalent to what's happening here. I mean, I've been saying this since I'm blue in the face, since way back here. The way this comes down, it's algos, it's market makers exploiting retail weakness. And it's going to come back up much the same way. It's actually come up at even a steeper slope. But these flags look pretty good to me, guys. I see this moving off of this base. I see this moving off of this wedge. I don't see this breaking down. I mean, it could break down, I'd say at the very worst, to this 1320 level. But I'm convinced it'll hold, this 1365, if not even this line. I think it'll hold this line. This wedge is just too much like a pencil. She has only one pencil. Everything is riding on this pencil. Peggy Hill. You guys remember the Great Boggle Championship against Sissy Cobb? Ain't a word. The word is not ain't, Sissy Cobb. The word is acquaintanceship, as in it was not my pleasure to make your acquaintanceship. It's like Sissy Cobb just starts glitching. She's just been defeated by the greatest boggle champion in the history of Arlen, Texas. Of course, the great Peggy Hill. You guys are familiar with the revolutionary dish, spaghetti and meatballs. In my opinion, coffee's a great pick-me-up in the morning. It's not your opinion, Peg. Everyone thinks coffee. Oh my God. Peggy Hill. Yeah, Peggy in a way was kind of like the forerunner for all of us Karens. Just sort of a misplaced sense of confidence and entitlement, self-assured. It didn't really belong, but if you can't tell, I love King of the Hill. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Anyway, what's up, Toto? You're one of my favorite toilets. And a good band. What's going on? Happy Friday to you, Mr. Toto. Or Mrs. Toto. I have no idea. Oh, God, not 4K subs. Guys, my subs grow like molasses in January. It's so like nobody's stupid enough to watch this crap except you guys. Like, I looked at it like I think I had about the same number of subs as like Tevis a year ago, and then I still have the same amount, and he has like 20,000. It's funny, but he provides real information, videos, and updates, and I just kind of come on and just ramble like a psychopath. But I'm told you guys enjoy it. So what am I talking about? If you look at Deadliest Catch Chris, when the guy is not, fishing Opies, fishing king crab, fishing red crab, fishing bear dye in the Bering Strait, with me and Toto and Mongo 312 and the rest of us. Dumped SoFi and bought SMCI. I actually sold some Tesla way up and bought SMCI. I think there's impersonators about, guys. I don't really participate in the comments. It's all I can do to keep my brain on the straight and narrow just a little bit to actually do this stupid show. But anyway, so if you look at a firm's print, it was just really good. I mean, beat the top, beat the bottom, just beat the pants off of everything. So, 866 million in revenue. Interesting. This is what data-driven investing was looking at. Look at the gross profit margin. Now that grew a lot, which is very, very good. From last quarter, it was 40, 40, 47, 40 again, and then 49. And interestingly, their net income is actually higher than their EBITDA, which is really not what you want in a growth stock, in my opinion. But there's pros and cons. I'm hearing, fools and freaks and geeks talking about both online. But then just take a look at SoFi. Oh, sorry, clicked the wrong deal. Just take a look at SoFi. So you see, do I have this on? I'm sorry, I don't have this on quarterly. Things tend to jump around on you, refresh on their own, and all that fun stuff. So I got to move over. I had something blah, blah, blah. Move over again. Sorry, guys. These sites are pretty slow. And then there we go. I think that's last quarter. So 727. But what do you notice? The gross profit margin for SoFi is up in the 80s. And look to Deadliest Catch Chris, aka data-driven investing, to actually break that down. He's a lot, smarter and thinner. If you manage your weight properly, he's like, honey, this Danny Deals is on again. Yeah, I probably make worse stock picks in this, but I'm in better shape than him, aren't I, honey? Oh, of course you are, dear. You're an Adonis. You're a middle-aged Adonis. Yeah, this fat guy's on. He's pretty funny. He sounds like the guy, the neighbor in Office Space doing the drywall at the McDonald's down at Vasculitis. Anyway, yeah, 10x, clap my dog, laugh it up, Chuckles, but 10x is going to be $1 billion company. I mean, I wish I would have done video on SMMT because I was telling everybody about that on these Turdish Bull. I'm like, the founder just bought, or one of the founders just bought $100 million worth of stock on the open market. I'm like, I just started buying the stock. I didn't even know very much about it. It's a lung cancer drug. I know they were making a lot of progress in China. All of a sudden, the stock just 20x's, like very, very quickly. So you got to look at the evidence right in front of your face. Nobody is going to, put up $100 million in cash. And if you start to look at the types of incentives that Anthony Noto has set up for himself, I mean, I think he could have taken money up front, more shares up front, and, not had these really, really pie in the sky targets. But you have to look at what's happening with SoFi's growth. I mean, they have been one of the fastest growing public companies since they went public. And their business model, to me, is superior over the long haul to a lot of these other fintechs, which a lot of their income is transactional. For me, SoFi is far more relationship based, where they're going to be exploiting their membership over and over and over. Affirm, you have other, competitors, you're just making sort of a game time decision. Where do I go? What's the best deal? Where with SoFi, people love the company, people love the product, and it hasn't even really started trading, I would say, moving on the wheel strategy. And then I want to address the, 800-pound middle-aged stock analyst in the room, the gorilla. A lot of people have referred to me as a chunky stock monkey, and I take great exception to that. I consider myself more portly or Rubenesque than chunky, more of an egg shape. Hey, excuse me, officer, I'm a little bit of a pear shape, okay? Like, after I've had my first and only kid, I cut my hair real short, and I gained 85 pounds, okay? Like, yes, ma'am. None of that allows you to drive the wrong way down a one-way street. Like, but I'm on a cell phone here, okay? I love Karens. Like, you run into these people in public, they're just like so indignant and sure they're right while they're just doing something that's just so obviously out of whack. It just makes no sense. Like, okay. Like, okay. No problemo. Like, and I will never understand for the life of me why you need a 7-passenger vehicle to take one kid to soccer. Like, what kind of equipment are you bringing? Are you like a hockey goalie? Unless you have a fat kid, he's not playing the tuba. All right, the parking spaces are small here. We just cut it out. Where are you even finding these minivans? I don't think they're selling minivans anymore. And no, dad, you're not super cool in that minivan just speeding around like it's a freaking sports car. I don't care if you get the sports package. It's a minivan. Just live with it. Deal with it. Be confident in your own skin enough that you're driving the wife around with the kid in the minivan. It's not the worst thing in the world. You got cool sunglasses. Your color and your gray temples, it looks okay. Looks like you did it yourself, but it looks okay. But you're so angry in the minivan. You're driving like a freaking psychopath. Angriest drivers, guys. Prius, number 1. Complete nuts. Every green light. Put the gas on the floor. Take off like, I think I'm next to a Ferrari here. Thing takes off like a rocket. Why are you so angry in that Prius? You're getting great MPG. Helping the environment. You're going to blow a fuse before that car does. I'd say you're going to have an infarction from road rage before you ever have to fill up the gas tank. Take it easy, horse. I don't like the Eagles, but I'm like, take it easy. So many bad Eagles songs, guys. I'm sorry. They have some great songs. I'm not taking anything away from their, musicianship or whatever. I like some of their solo stuff even better, but I don't know. Just not a huge Eagles fan. Maybe it's because I'm a huge fan of the Big Lebowski. Like, I hate the fucking Eagles, man. Oh, man. What am I talking about here, guys? Does anybody have any idea? So look at the gross profit margins. Look at the EBITDA. Look at the net income. And you start to see a picture that SoFi is set up to scale. SoFi is set up to scale. It's like the opposite. Like, if you happen to be like a fat guy, you really never want to weigh yourself, much less in public. If you get to the doctor and you just can't avoid it. All right, we're going to just get your height and weight. My height and what? It's your height and weight. No hablo inglés. We're going to get your height and weight, sir. Where did anybody see where that fat guy went? I believe he dove out the window into the hedge. Sir, you need to get your insurance card. Still going to charge you for this. I'm like, I'm coming back. All right. Anyway, guys, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't really know the point of this broadcast. I would say, I don't know, the 23% move on this print seems extreme, but, it's a huge beat. I mean, but it was a massive sandbag, and some of this stuff seems a little bit irregular. SMCI 150, it could easily go. I mean, the numbers, we don't know any. There's 3 quarters we don't know. If there's extreme growth in those 3, they're saying they're going to grow from, 14 billion to 25 billion. That's being conservative. Are you kidding me? They're trading at last year's sales. And I know what you're saying. Hey, Danny, they must be on the verge of bankruptcy. They must be hemorrhaging money. They must be in debt up to their eyeballs. No, they're making money. They just have too much inventory, but they're going to, I've talked to people about that too. What is this? And they will be able to sell that stuff through, especially if DeepSeek, comes to fruition some years down the road and you're having to use all these old bullshit. You're using a Pentium 2. I created a large language model with a Pentium 3. I was running 4 gigs of RAM. I got a Commodore 64. I'm running some models there as well. Scale models? I don't know. I already told you I got an aversion to scales. So you're 6 foot? Oh yeah, I like to say that I am. I'm more like 5'11.99. Like stretch out your vertebrae real tall to hit 6 feet. Yeah, but I'm like 6'3" with the hair. Like that doesn't count. It's like measuring the trying to measure your wiener below the fat. It's like, well, if you count the part inside, honey, it's like a solid 8. It's like the old fat guy special. I mean, I don't want this show to devolve into, things about fat guys measuring their wiener, but this is real life, people. This is David After Dentist. Sometimes when you're talking stocks, you're talking gross profit margins, you have to be illustrative. Sometimes it's an iceberg. Sometimes 90% is below the waterline. Sometimes you got nothing there. Sometimes you got nothing but pubic bone. Anyway, what's going on, Lisa? How you doing? Where's your man crush, Alberto Berti Aviles, the great Alberto Berti Aviles? I don't see Alberto Berti Aviles. I still like saying Alberto Berti Aviles. Let's up Not a Lurker, J Money. How you doing? Drink filtered tap water, Not a Lurker. I've had enough. You're dehydrated, drinking too much coffee. You're shaving your head 7-8 times a day, chasing the dragon. Drink some water, Not a Lurker. Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Thank you for joining me on this extremely special edition of Un Poco Mas. Sure, we give you just a little bit more. Let's see. Was it 21? Oops, Lisa broke the internet, or at least broke Bertie, but he'll be like Humpty Dumpty. They'll put him together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men could put Bertie back together again, but they couldn't get that goatee intricacy just perfect. So he had to kick all their asses. Let's see. All fupa. Sometimes gross margins, sometimes it's gross wieners, sometimes it's a little bit of both, Carl. Sometimes a little bit of both. Sounds like you've been to one of my parties. It's not a freak off. It's not a freak off. Just A couple of fat guys drinking near beer, trying to measure their wieners to the base. Just struggling with it. Hey, does anybody have a car jack? You mean like a tire jack? Why would you need a tire jack to measure your wiener? I don't have time to explain right now. Anybody notice in 24, like that show with Kiefer Sutherland, how he never had time to explain things that but he had time to just do like tons of other stuff. And like, it was always counting down. It's like, I don't have time right now. Get down. He's like just doing but then they're just wasting like tons of time, just like sitting in the car, talking about their emotions. I didn't know when she was a young girl. I could have been there more. Like, he's like, there's no time. It's like, well, just opine about your poor parenting later. You know? I don't know. I was just watching some stupid. Somebody sent me like an animated GIF. Anyway, guys, let's see. Long-term picture for Anthony Noto. If I had to draw a long-term picture of Anthony Noto, it would be great hair, windbreakers, and 9-figure bonuses coming out the wazoo. Because he deserves it. I think this is his forever home. I think SoFi is Anthony Noto's forever home. I think he's going to ride off into the sunset, just, maybe $1 billion worth of stock. Anyway, guys, that's about really all I have. Very, very cheap, 1 pound of fish. Yes. You're so stupid. You should have taken the fish. Anyway, guys, I have a bald head, but we'll grow back out my nose and ears. If you grow your nose and ear hair out enough, Billy Jack, you could definitely fashion some type of a makeshift comb over. I'm confident. You guys down that way are very resourceful. Let's see. Hurricane Lopez on the weekly SoFi, the golden packet loading zone. Share price is said. Sure you can't. Yeah, I mean, if you're saying buy, I completely agree with you, Phoenix 112. Is that a proverb, a psalm? What is that? Phoenix 112. For thou art my. Not a lurker has 1,000 shares, but what's funny is it closed at SoFi or Palantir and Hood, and they're all under 10. So yeah, my SoFi is now over the way the Fat Tennis Ninja. Yeah, I mean, like I said, is it just sour grapes? I mean, Palantir's valuation to me, I mean, here's why I'm wrong, I guess, is that they just have something just completely different and people are seeing hyper growth. Why isn't it seems like it'd be growing fastest now and like the top line, it's just not. I mean, I would think to get this type of valuation, this type of multiple on sales, you're not talking multiples on profits. You're talking like, I mean, I don't know. What's just the multiple on sales now? Like 70, 80? I mean, you get into multiples on profit is such, but you think they should be growing at 100% at this size. If this is that revolution, and I think people are sort of the idea is people are just discovering it and the adoption is picking up. And that's why the company's so valuable. And, you can't argue with where their margins are going to be. You can't argue with the growth. But Carp, I mean, man, the guy's cocky, confident, whatever you want to say. It's like, why should we even do an earnings report? Just print the number. Man, okay. Let's see. What do we got? We got CTM, BBAI, or NEO. Can you choose one? Oh my God, no, I can't. I know it's BBAI. It's been going nuts, but I don't know that much about the company, so I'm not. I haven't had any time to do any research, guys, and make any video. Let's see. Cost base 691. So where things could exist. Birdie said, as I started the lease of soap opera, you will be fine. Do you have options? No casino this weekend. So yeah, guys, I guess that's all I had for SoFi. This is a lot of the people who you like to look at on Seeking Alpha, which I think has some of the best authors on SoFi. Very, very bullish on the stock. This guy, Sofian, I've read his articles many times. Very good, solid information. $25, 2025 is not unreasonable. Sold off on earnings, but he's like, it's weak, but they have a history of sandbagging guidance, and analysts have a history of underestimation. See the bologna sandwich with extra mayo, extra cheese. I mean, it's just at a certain point, you just have to say, look, I was either wrong or I was told to say this or whatever the case may be, but they've defied the odds. In fact, these defaults are just not materializing because they were so obsessed with, credit quality and anything that's not good. They're able to lay off on this loan platform, yada, yada, yada. You guys know the story. But after 2 years of trading horizontally, finally erupted, 52-week highs, improving market sentiment, interest rate cuts. More prominently, major catalysts reported exceptional Q3 earnings, catapulted the stock above 10, even after rallying 100% from its August lows. I highlighted that we could see a monster move ahead. Indeed, the stock rallied another 50% from 12 to 18. And if you look at the move kind of from 7 to 18, a pullback to that, 14, 13, it's not, catastrophic. If you really want to see another big move up, you probably want to see a pullback of, 40%. Not of the stock price, but of the move. So if you have a move from 7 to 18, you have an $11 move, the stock could easily pull back, 40%. So that'd be whatever it would be, $4.40. I don't know my math. Is it all right there? But 40% of 11, you guys have to do that. But, that's just nothing to be too concerned about. The stocks, most stocks just don't go up, consistently vertically like a Palantir. So more prominently, we already read that part. Unfortunately, the bull party was abruptly stopped after SoFi reported Q4. You can almost see this coming. They're like management could have worded things a lot differently. It's like there's a lot of people are saying, hey, we can't comment because of regulatory considerations. And I think SoFi could comment on the tech platform a lot more than they do without sort of revealing anything that's going to, put their bank charter in, harm's way or, reveal any type of proprietary information about customers. But some talk, LaPointe talked, what is it, like, 3, 4, 5 quarters ago, I can't even remember, about sort of the pace of, onboarding these customers and where they are, and that we'd see some big, pushes. But none of that's happened. And as StockGoat so aptly pointed out, as did Tevis, is like management has just not communicated. And the basic reason they use why, hey, they can't be a carp out here like a rock star, sort of a Steve Jobs wannabe. Not really. He's his own guy, but I'm just saying this sort of how Steve Jobs pioneered these sort of presentations that Elon Musk and so many people have adopted. And it's very, very effective in terms of driving retail investment into a stock. But when you're a bank, you just can't do that. They want to bring crypto back, et cetera, et cetera. As far as the tech platform goes, you have to remember, even what these guys were saying, they just bought these companies 3 years ago. So they had to onboard SoFi for the first year and a half, just get the SoFi switched over to the actual Galileo platform. They also had to integrate Technesis into Galileo as a company. These were two completely separate companies. To do all this in just a couple of years is not that slow. And sorry. I just think people are too impatient. Now, I think some of these companies are going to be a great short to midterm play because they can ramp very quickly. They're more like one product. It's simple. All you have to do is go out and take market share, and you're basically in a somewhat new industry. So with SoFi, I think you're much more set up for the long term with the bank charter, that they're going to be able to bring crypto back. It's going to be a much more one-stop shop. And let's see that option suite. They were telling me late last year, early this year. That's what some insider scuttlebutt. Now, nothing official. I don't know anything. I just have an ear to the ground. But if they bring out the full option suite, they bring back crypto, all of a sudden, SoFi starts to look a lot more compelling with sort of, Gen Z slacker set. Sort of, hey, I have a ton of money somehow. I know how to code, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, we've heard enough about Billy Jack's nose hair. Comes over from his back. It's pretty admirable. There he is. Alberto is here. We could start the party. All right, Lisa just took a sigh of relief. Alberto's safe. The Alberto and Lisa soap opera could become the most compelling storyline of this show. Anyway, guys, I got to wrap this turd up in a nice paper bag. No casino this weekend. Premium the option. Encourage. Not a lurker. Yes, sir. Conservative. My position is large enough to be conservative and do. Hey now. Lisa, 10K shares, Tesla, Pickle Lisa, shoes my schnookums. What's going on, guys? It was opposite. Chris Noto running Chase. Yeah. I mean, except I don't think Jamie Dimon likes Anthony Noto. Neo's my third wheel, put a flat tire. Hey, guys, I can't read all these. I wish I could. Thank you. It's taken many years of learning the right career moves. But I'm here joining the fruits. Hey, congratulations, Chris. A man who was disciplined, stays the course, and is handsomely rewarded. Or woman. I don't know if Chris is a man or a woman. That's pretty obvious. It could be either way. Let's see. If I was Stock and Lisa was my chart, it would be all green candles. That's great, Alberto. What a sweet, sweet guy. 415 is a buy zone next week. Got a golden cross playing. Yeah, I mean, that's if you're talking 415. So yeah, you're right here. I mean, you're right here. So yeah, I agree with you. It could break down just a little bit, but good advice, good advice. SMCI, yeah, no, I'm going to talk SMCI. I just wanted to touch base on SoFi and Eve. No problem, no problem. Okay, guys, Freddie Lafitte, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Not a lurker, Lisa, Matt Griffin. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Want to say that's SoFi. Yeah, Affirm. Congratulations, you hold Affirm. You know, I'm not hating on Affirm. It's a great print. It's a great print. It showed, you know, huge progress on their margins, top line, bottom line, adaptation, market, everything looked really good. So, you know, my hat's off to Affirm. I don't think at this point it'd be smart to chase that Affirm gain, but that's just me, guys. Thanks for watching. It's Un, Poco, Moss, the show where we try to give you just a little bit more. Appreciate it, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.